Hey y'all, how's y'all's Monday going, or how did it go? I'm up here in the high part of the pasture among the remaining three oinkers. We've divvied them off a little bit by little bit, and they can sure tear up a pasture, but they're hoping I got a little corn in my pocket, but I don't. I guess they'll stay with me. Watching that old sunset behind those old trees that have been there 100 years. I can see it a million times and it never gets old. The memories always come back. I walked up here because I heard some equipment running out there, and it always makes me a little nervous. Hopefully they're not developing it. It's nice to have that big buffer. And they're developing it okay for a little hunting this fall. Bush hogging the lanes up there. Talked with that gentleman. He had some stories to share, and he knows that land there about as well as I do, if not more. We was talking about the old train track that went through there. He remembers where it's at, and he's going to mow some lanes through there for me to be able to walk and show y'all some of that history. So that'll be really cool. But we had a good talk. I think we burned too much daylight now. He's going to be rushing to get his cutting done. But no, everything's good here on the place. Got a lot of exciting projects. Some of y'all are seeing. We're podcasting now, and before too long we'll be publishing some front porch talks with some of my mentors and good friends. And I don't know, we'll have a few authorities on subjects along the way, but I've always found I get the most wisdom from folks that have lived it, right? So these are folks I know have lived these different things and have some tips and advice on just life in general. Boy, these goats, y'all, there's the babies, but they're in I guess hog heaven, goat heaven out here eating. The weather's been absolutely beautiful. Here we're pretty dry under a burn ban, so all the October fires aren't really happening. I've had to alter our behavior on burning trash and all. We have to hold off on it for now, but we'll get rain soon enough in time. And we got 60 inches through June, where we normally get all year 48. So I was a little suspect that we wasn't going to get much in the fall and winter of the year, but we'll get enough to make things go. Slipped away for a little time on a little local lake here the other day, and we went fishing, not catching. That old east wind was not doing us any favors, but beautiful and relaxing just the same. But I noticed a couple of things. People are funny, you know. We always think there's greener pastures or something better. Had a little canoe that went out in, a couple of us, and canoes are a tricky thing. And I was the navigator, and we had a little fold-out chair in the front, and they were fishing up there with their back to me. And I thought about how the good Lord is always behind us and guiding us, watching us, making sure we're safe. And you know, those canoes will make you, I think most of the time when they flip, it's from a panic reaction, because they're not necessarily stable. But if you'll just kind of calm down when things start rocking and don't panic, you probably won't flip it, especially in smooth water. But I would navigate or grab another minnow and bait the hook, because you got to make your moves really deliberate in those things. And it really struck me as I watched that passenger ahead of me in that chair fishing, and I'd get a fish off, or I think caught a couple of them, to put another minnow on from losing it. And the boat would kind of rock, and they couldn't see what I was doing. And they would holler, "We're going to flip, we're going to flip." I knew that I was in control, and there was no danger of flipping as long as we didn't panic, right? Just a little rock in that boat in the water. And boy, it really struck me how many times that we do that in our life, right? And we're rocking along, and it kind of gets a little scary, and looks like we're going to flip. And I was like, no, it's all right. I've got it under control back here. You just don't panic. Trust me. Everything's going to be all right. I noticed something else that took me back to memories of fishing on Lake Raven in Huntsville, Texas, a little state park there, a couple 100-acre lake. Good memories there with Mom and Dad and Kimberly. We'd go down there on a Saturday, And I think to this day you don't even have to have a fishing license on that lake. I'm sure we did if it was required back then, but we would fish from the bank. We didn't have a boat, and poor Dad didn't really care much for fishing, but more Mom did. I mean, she'd sit out there all night if you'd let her. But he would take care of all the rats' nests in our poles, and Kimberly would rather read than fish, but it was just so beautiful out there. Me and Mom would be trying to fish and get tangled up, and Dad didn't have time to fish because he's too busy untangling our lines. But I'd sit there on the bank and I'd watch the boats go by. I'm like, man, if I had a boat, boy, I could get out there and catch the big ones. I mean, I could do good instead of sitting on this bank. And I know through life circumstances that they were out there on that boat looking at the bank and said, man, if I was on that bank right there, I could hit that log just right. I can't get there with this boat. So both of us, the boat rider, the boat fisherman, and the boy on the bank, was not happy. Because surely there was a better spot to fish. So for whatever that's worth, right? But we've got that, those that hadn't seen it, we've of course got the podcast, and you can find it on iTunes and all that. I've done a collection of our stories that we share every day, somewhere you can go and just kind of digest those. I'm trying to catch up, so there might be 4 or 5 of the older ones that you've already heard on there, but as we move forward, we'll update them as we post them here. But it's just a way for you to I'm talking, you're confused, it's almost dark. That's that species confused rooster, right? One that likes to jump on the goats. I hadn't seen it do it in a while. Maybe it's done got leveled out. I don't know. But yeah, you can find it on iTunes and all that podcast business. Love for y'all to go follow that. I do have a few new subscribers. Thank y'all for that. $1 a month, get a few behind the scenes things. I've got to do a couple this week. We've got the old well. Those of you that followed for quite some time remembers where it was and how it was sunk, and we dug it up here a few months back. But talked with Francisco, and we've got some projects coming up. I think he's coming over tomorrow. I've got the spot marked where we're going to put it back under the, let me see here. Y'all go ahead and sign off where you're at. We'll get to roll call here in just a minute. But the old well casing there, we'll put it right back where it was. And I'm going to make a brick patio of sorts and do some things with the brick to commemorate the family of those that grew up on this place. And then we may just get busy with a little sidewalk, and any of y'all that want your name on a brick or buried in the old red dirt of East Texas here, I think that'd be kind of cool to posterize that. I had read a story, and it was uncanny. As being a Facebook and creating content and all, just Facebook's always encouraging. Some of y'all do this, and they're always just prodding you to, today is National Purple Donut Day, or post about that. I'm like, Lord of mercy, I don't, whatever. But it kind of struck me because I saw that today's National Apple Day, for whatever that's worth. But it reminded me of a story in context of all the doubt we see today, and all the brilliant scientific minds that have outsmarted themselves about no God and the resurrection was a falsehood. And I thought maybe it might be appropriate, since it's National Apple Day, that we'll share this one. So it was a atheist and agnostic professor had been scheduled to speak at a large outdoor picnic in a fairly large town, big crowd. He went on for 2.5 hours pontificating about how history and writings of philosophers and folks of brilliant minds disputing the fact that Christ came to this earth, died, and rose again. There was no scientific proof. It was all a bunch of hogwash, and the whole religious Christianity belief was hung on a falsehood, and that they were crazy. Well, after 2.5 hours of reading all these documents and quoting all these philosophers and all, he wrapped up his talk and offered to answer any questions that the crowd might have. The crowd was murmuring to themselves, and about 30 seconds in, an old preacher man, stood up in the back of the crowd. He looked out there, and the crowd was like, oh goodness, what's going to happen now? They turned their eyes to him as he stood up. He said, "Sir, I have one question." They said, "Yes, sir." The old man reached into his little crumpled up brown lunch bag there and pulled out an apple that he'd been eating on. He took a bite. He said, "It's a fairly simple question." He said, "I don't know much about sociology or theology. I can't quote the scriptures in the original Greek or the Aramaic. He said, I don't know anything about the writings of Niebuhr or Heisenberger." He said, "I got a question." He's eating the apple, taking a bite, asking it with his mouth half full. He said, "Sir, this apple that I'm eating, can you tell me if it's sweet or is it tart?" With that, he took the final bite of the apple and held the core up to the man. He looked at the old man and smirked. He said, "Well, sir, I can't possibly answer that question. I've never tasted that apple." The old man smiled and weathered face. He dropped the apple core back in his old brown paper bag and smiled. He said, "Yeah, and you've never tasted my Jesus." Isn't that pretty good? So I'd ask, before you say that there's no existence of it, have you tasted Jesus? Right? How about that, sissy? She found me. I done come to the front. She is scared. I'm going to go in the house without her. Huh? Say hi. I do believe we got a litter of pups on the way. December will be when that happens. And Dad tragically lost one of her sons from a previous litter through a freak accident. So we're looking forward to getting her lineage, and we're going to get her fixed after this litter. So that'll be a good deal. But I sure hope to get a healthy litter on it. But whatever that is, it is. Old Tank, I don't think I've shown him in a while. Let's take a look at him. That's going to be the daddy, or is the daddy if she's pregnant. That's the one that was the roamer and would not stay in a high fence ranch down the road. But he's right at home in this cyclone fence, I guess because he knows there's a little love here. He gets to come in the house a little bit and eat. That's his girlfriend, Sissy. She's probably about 3 years older than he is, but he's a precious puppy. Yeah, he is. Old Tank. I wish I could let him free roam, but those male Pyrenees have a little larger range that they like to go, and it makes me nervous with this road, because as soon as I let him out of that fence, he's off. He'll be back the next day, but that's not a game I want to play. But we know we get a litter out of her. I'm going to get him fixed as well. Maybe that'll curb some of his roaming. There's little Hank. He's come to see Mama. Hey, buddy. He's got a little hitch in his get-along. He's getting better. But, hey, buddy. Hi. He's getting a little friendlier with me. Looks like he's got eyeliner on, doesn't he? Yeah. But all is well here on the place. I just want to check in and say howdy and encourage y'all to check out some of those podcasts. I think you'll enjoy them. It's a little easier to listen to some of those without keeping Facebook open. Sometimes that's tough. But really appreciate all the support. There's a lot of good out there, y'all. We need to celebrate it and shine that light as bright as we can. I'm going to go through these comments real quick. And I meant to come on a little earlier. Got busy talking with old boy on the tractor back there. But I wouldn't trade that for nothing. That's what we need to do more of, right? Just in fact, when we take that ride, and he's telling me about it, we may have to do a video. I don't know if I'll do it live, depending on the signal, but we'll have to get some stories from him on that tractor back there. That'd be good for us, wouldn't it? All right, y'all sound off if you're here, and we'll read it out and then roll on from there. How about that? Let me go on back. All right. Here's Miss Mandy, good friend out Etoll way. How are you, ma'am? Let's see. She brought me some seeds the other day for planting, so that's always a good friend when that happens, right? There's Miss Maria. I hadn't heard from you in a while. Finally caught me live. Oh, she's got a day off. All right, so she won't get in trouble with the boss. How about that? Let's see here. Scrolling. I'm not going to do like old Neil McCoy and just go bullet reading. We'll slow it down a little bit. Oh, Whitney said she's talking. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Anthony, love my positive stories. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you tuning in. Carolyn's out in southern Illinois. It's a beautiful day here. Well, boy, it's been beautiful here. Linda's up in Minnesota. There's my good friend Debbie down Temple Way. Hope you're doing okay, ma'am. Subscriber checking in. Anthony out in Roxborough, North Carolina. Well, I know we've all still got all of y'all in our prayers. I'm praying you're not in the affected area. But there's Miss Whitney tuning in from Middle Tennessee. Good new friend. Always love to see her post. Leo and Nancy Land Hamrick. That's in a mouthful. Living in Northwest Georgia. Howdy to y'all. Charles is in New Athens, Illinois. Well, people all over. There's my AP, my favorite aunt that lives in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I can get away with that. Love you, Pat. Good to see you on. Christina Wade in North Carolina. How are you, ma'am? Thank you for tuning in. See a lot of new names on here. Thank y'all. Charles, Pat Leader. I don't know if that's... Anyway, that kind of threw me. Thanks for that. Eric in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Larry Overholt. Boy, it's tough to get old. I have to look through these spectacles. In Due West, South Carolina. Indianapolis is checking in from Janice. Howdy to you. Dan Dolan from East Tennessee. Good to see you checking in, sir. Appreciate your comments along the way. Christina Wade. Yeah, Tank is a big boy. He really is. I didn't think Sissy really breached the fence line back there, but my buddy that was mowing, talking to him about the dog. We were just working out places for them to park. They're not avid. I mean, they're not just hunting. And I'm proud to know he's bringing the grandkids out and letting them get some exposure to the woods. And it's kind of a long piece around to get up to that land. And we were talking. I said, man, we just need to put a little gap in the fence here, and you just drive the truck right up to the line. That way, the kiddos don't have to walk so far. But there we go, spoiling them again, right? We grew up having to walk a quarter mile or half mile or mile through the woods. I guess it'd be good for them to learn that too, wouldn't it? So we'll see. Let's see, Whitney saying be the light. Yes, ma'am. Donna's in northeast Arkansas. I got to put these old things on again. Hey from Little Rock. Buddy the Kirshner's up there. Kenneth down in Livingston, Texas. Good friend. Good to see you. It's been a while. It's been 3 or 4 years since I've seen your face. I have to get down there soon. Bernice checking in from Katy. How are you? And there's my really good friend, Corey Long. Was able to work as a co-worker with him some years back. And prince of a man. Love his beautiful life that he's got going. Deep faith. Beautiful family. Good to see you, Corey. He's in Tennessee, but heart's still in Texas. Yeah, you will. You'll be back. That's all right. Lex is in Coweta, Oklahoma. Jessica in Indiana. Let's see here who else we got. Byron's in North Georgia. I think that's everybody I see. I might check one more time. But y'all, something I would encourage you to do, and not necessarily this page, but we know there's a lot of dark around us, and we see it on Facebook all of the time. But there's some folks out there creating good content, good positive words of encouragement, whether on a massive scale or on a lower scale. I don't know if you realize, I see it from behind the scenes, and the messages I get from people you'd never expect would be messaging a page of this, and you can feel their heart through the messages and the pain and the joy of seeing hope. So you can never know how much good you can do by just sharing some of that stuff. Sure, you may not be one that wants to necessarily create the content or spread the word, but just clicking that share button along the way and sharing things that you agree with and that give you hope, make you smile, spread the light of Christ. Share that within your news feed. Public if you can, if you care for it. But you'd be surprised how that will be treated. Those content creators are doing the heavy lifting by creating it and spreading the good word. So take a minute and interact with their posts, because that's a way to show Facebook we want to see more of the good stuff, right? Maybe that'll clean up your news feed of some of the goofy stuff, right? But it does matter, every little click and share and all, and you don't have to flood your feed with it, but it'd be good to share some positive from folks along the way. And don't be scared to be positive yourself, right? But we're going to wrap it up. Sissy's ready to go in the house, and Hank needs to lay down and rest that leg. Don't you, buddy? You do. That old cat's done got dirty. You done got in a brush pile or something. I don't guess a farm's the best place for two snow white cats. Jordan and I the other day heard a big old hoot owl up in that magnolia tree. And I was a little concerned. I'm like, man, these cats are like shining a light at night for that old owl to come down. But that one tomcat we got, I imagine he'd probably end up having an owl for breakfast. He ain't that big, but he don't play when it comes to things messing with him. So he's probably been all right. We have the daily gift giving from the cats. Somebody ain't happy over there, but they get they'll kill a rat or a lizard or whatever. Y'all know if y'all got cats outside. There's always a gift for us on the porch. That means they're trying to earn their keep. All right, I've rambled enough. It's getting a little cool out here, and hope y'all have a good evening. And shine the light bright this week. All right, be the light. Talk to you soon.